Oh, I love it when the random faceless coward trolls creep on your other social media sites. Yes, I have been complaining about the way a truck on my street parks. And if you looked at it in just that lens, a simplistic minded lens, then that's all it would seem to be on the surface. So let's go ahead and get into it because I like making more content and this is a subject that we can talk about. There's a house directly west of me and then a house next to that. These are the houses that we're going to be talking about, okay? The house directly next to me, lovely couple, 2 boys, both grown. The youngest was 33 years old, still living at home, trying to figure out his path in life. The oldest since moved out, married, got his own place. The 33-year-old kid in my world, who lived in the house next door, was beefing with the neighbor on the other side of them because that kid would, when he was mowing the lawn, occasionally go over the property line, and the guy on the other side of them is a raving fucking asshole and would get into arguments and yell and scream about where the fucking property line is. So he eventually drove a series of stakes down the property line, getting all the way back to the backyard, and then there's a sign there that says, "Now keep out," or "keep off," or something of that nature. Then we have the parking issue. This gentleman drives a pickup truck. He's got a regular amount of space on the street in front of his house, and then he has a rather large driveway. It's just him and his wife, and he chooses to park on the street. Fine, so be it. But he chooses to park on the street not in front of his house, but rather in the small strip of grass that makes up his side yard and the neighbor who he's beefing with side yard. And what it does is it causes his pickup truck to butt right up against that neighbor that's in between the two of us, right up against their driveway, making it just a pain in the ass for the neighbors due west of me to pull in and out of their driveway. In other words, he's putting his car there in order to be a jagoff and make their life difficult. Make pulling in and out of their own driveway miserable each and every day. Then, for whatever reason, he puts a sawhorse behind his car, his truck, and the kid, the 33-year-old kid who was living next door, moved it because now it's really right up against their driveway and it's making it even more difficult. So then he put the sawhorse back, the neighbor, the pain in the ass neighbor, with a sign that says, "Don't touch, you're on camera," because he has a Ring camera. It's idiotic bickering on this guy's part just to make his neighbor's life a living hell, right? Then, a couple of weeks back, that 33-year-old kid next door was coming home from taking his grandmother grocery shopping. It had been snowing out, had some weather out. There was a patch of ice, and he ran off the road and hit a pole and died. The mom next door, in a move much better than anything I could ever do, because in my opinion, I'm already of the fuck that asshole camp, she goes next door and tells the guy who has made her life, her husband's life, and her son's life a living hell for years that her son died in a car accident and invited him to the service. Not to stick it to him, not to be like, hey, you want to stop being an asshole, to invite him to the service. I could never do it. She's a far better person than I am. And he put his truck in the parking lot for the first time, in his driveway for the first time in years. And he left it there for 2 weeks. And then it went right back to that spot. And then a couple of days later, that sawhorse came back out with that sign. So he's been making my neighbor's life a living hell for years. He learns that their kid passes in a freak car accident, and he gives them a 2-week grace period before he goes back to fucking with them and making their life hell. Let me show you some pictures. This is the truck with the sawhorse. This is how he parks it. This gives you a better view. This here is my neighbor's front yard, and then that first driveway you see there is my neighbor's driveway. And then their other side yard is half of that strip of land that truck is parked in front of, and then his side yard is the other half. That next driveway up, this driveway right here, is his driveway. And all of this lawn between this mailbox and this driveway and this mailbox down here is his front yard. But he parks here because it makes my neighbors getting out of the task of getting out and out of their driveway very difficult. That's why I'm complaining, because he's being a dick towards good people that didn't do anything to him. People that have lived in this neighborhood for over 30 years, raised their family, paid their property taxes, and have been nothing but good neighbors to everybody around them. So good of neighbors that they went and invited this asshole to their son's memorial service. And then he continues to do shit like this. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So if complaining that one of my neighbors is treating another one of my neighbors like shit, especially in the wake of their son's death, makes me a bitter old man, then chalk me up to be a bitter old man. But hey, at least I got you creeping on my Facebook page, right? You creep on my Instagram too? You want to connect on Snapchat?